Hello, my name is Rachel and I'm here with a few exciting releases that are coming out tomorrow, May 24th, 2016. And first up is Smoke by Dan Violetta, and this story takes place in England, and a class system is created by those who give off a smoky, like a mist, and those who don't. And those who don't give off the smoky aura are viewed as good and clean, and these tend to be the upper class and the aristocracy, and those who do give off the smoky aura are viewed as lower class and kind of subpar. What I can guess from the plotline is that there's going to be some sort of revolutionary action, as we've seen in a lot of books released lately, such as The Red Queen and Nimber in the Ashes, where the lower class has been oppressed long enough and they are kind of rising up against the upper class. So again, that is Smoke by Dan Violetta, and it sounds like it's going to be an exciting read. Next up is True Crime Addict by James Renner, and there's a subtitle that I can't remember with it, so I'll put a picture up. This is an autobiography, and basically it starts out early on in his life when he is exposed to a great tragedy of one of his friends who I believe is murdered. I know that his friend passes away. I think it's from a murder. And this kind of leaves him with PTSD, and that evolves into him becoming obsessed with true crime cases. And then I believe a local teenager goes missing several years later, and he really just jumps into this investigation, and as the investigation takes on a more and more important role in his life, his actual life begins to kind of spiral out of control. And again, it is called True Crime Addict by James Renner, and I think this sounds amazing. I think this sounds like such a great read and a really interesting take on all of the true crime fiction and television and movies that we are bombarded with, and I think this is an interesting kind of sideways look at this culture. Next up is a book called Tribe. The subtitle is On Homecoming and Belonging. This is by Sebastian Junger, and I believe, I cannot remember now what else he wrote, but there was another book that was really popular that Sebastian Junger wrote, so some of you may be familiar with him. This is another book that really focuses on PTSD and how modern vets are returning to our society, and I think this really takes a look at how not only is what they're coming back from war causing this PTSD, but how they are kind of meshed in with our society when they come back, and basically just how we as a culture should move on from here to make it a little bit easier for soldiers coming back from war. And again, it's called Tribe, and I think it's going to be a really important book. I think this would be a fantastic book to read over the summer, especially while you're thinking about the 4th of July and feeling very patriotic, to be reminded of some real life struggles of soldiers who fight for our freedoms every day. Next up is, I believe this is either a children's or a young adult book. It is called Summer of Lost and Found by Rebecca Behrens, I believe is how you pronounce her name. And this follows the story of a teen girl who is taken to Roanoke Island by her mother. Her mother is a botanist, and she's going to go to Roanoke to study the plant life of the island. But while the daughter is there, instead of going with her mom to look at all the plants, she meets a new friend, and they kind of explore the legends of the island, and they kind of go on a hunt to discover what remains and clues they can find from the lost colony of Roanoke Island. And to me, that sounds awesome, especially such a unique mystery geared towards children. I feel like sometimes they're very cliche mysteries geared towards children, so this sounds like a very interesting take, very suspenseful from what I can gather, and I am very excited to read this one. I have an arc that I haven't got to yet, but it's going to happen this summer. Next up is the first in a new series, and that is The Progeny by Tosca Lee. This is the first in a new series that follows the descendants of the Bloody Countess, who was an infamous murderess from the 16th, 17th century, and what was then Hungary, I believe, and what is now Bulgaria, I think. And this woman was an actually existed in real life, and she is rumored to have killed over like 500 people in her lifespan, and they did not put her to death, but they locked her in a room until she died. And yeah, so she's the Bloody Countess, known as one of the most lethal, prolific female serial killers of all time. But anyway, this book follows the descendants of this woman, and this part is where it becomes fictional. The descendants of this woman, and there is a kind of a secret society out there who is determined to kill off all of her living descendants. I guess they're afraid that they all have this evil gene passed on. But anyway, the secret society is out to kill her, so she is in a fight for her life, being a distant descendant of this famous, infamous serial killer back in the 17th century. And I think that sounds pretty intriguing. I would definitely like to pick this one up and see what the series is about. Last up, my probably most anticipated release for tomorrow, as I'm sure most of you know, is The Last Star by Rick Yancey. This is the third and final book in the Fifth Wave series, and I think a lot more people are probably anticipating this now that the Fifth Wave was made into a movie. And so far, I have read the first and the second book in the series, and I am definitely ready to get my hands on this third book tomorrow and get the series wrapped up. I am excited to know how everything concludes, and I really am looking forward to seeing how the Cassie Evan arc ends up in this final book. So those are the 6 books that I am excited for to be released tomorrow, which again is going to be May 24th, 2016, in case you watch this in the future. And yeah, that's all I have tonight. So if you liked one of these books, I'd love to hear about it below. If you have a book that you're excited about for tomorrow, please share that below as well. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and if you don't mind, go ahead and subscribe to my channel to be notified when I post new videos. I try to do Monday and Wednesday and Friday every week. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Hopefully it'll happen more since this is my last week of school for the year and I am off for summer. And yeah, so off with the rambling from me. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again with another video soon. Bye for now.